Previously on Supernatural Season 14, Michael 2.0 is hell-bent on world domination, and a soulless Jack messes up badly. So let's just jump into it. Michael, who's still wearing his favorite meat suit, is intent on building a better world where monsters rule over humans. He starts experimenting with the monsters whose pure desires he admires. However, after a few massacred vampire nests, he moves on to werewolves and finally cracks the code to enhance their abilities, making them all-powerful.
All right. Who's next?
Meanwhile, back at the bunker, with Dean still being MIA, Sam has become the de facto leader of the Apocalypse World Hunters. Everyone seems to be settling into their new home, except for Jack, who is still struggling to adjust to life without powers.
As a wise man once said, it ain't how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
In other news, Lucifer's old vessel, Nick, is up and about but spiraling mentally. He becomes obsessed with finding out who murdered his family. After some killing and maiming, he is eventually led to an OG demon called Abraxas.
No way. Nick.
Michael decides to move on to greener vessels and drops Dean's body like it's hot.
Sammy. It's me.
Dean has no memory of his time as Michael and feels immensely guilty about his decision to be a vessel. He does, however, spot a scar on his shoulder, and they go on the hunt for the weapon that caused it. A quick mind search from Castiel to an alternate reality version of Kaya. She's from the bad place and informs the brothers that Michael tried to recruit her and take her badass spear, but when she politely declined, he started sending monsters her way. What a gentleman. Tired of losing, Dean justifies hurting Kaya to get the weapon, so she books it. Back at the bunker, Jack starts coughing up blood like he's in the bucket list. Cass has no luck healing him, so they head to the hospital, but the doctors have no answers either. Shocker.
What's going on?
What's it look like? Can't expect him to hit the street with nothing on but a hospital gown, his ass hanging out.
The brothers convince Rowena to give him a once-over, and it turns out that without his grace, his body is at an imbalance, causing his system to consume itself. A shaman named Sergei offers his services, but the spell bombs, worsening Jack's condition so much that he dies.
He's gone.
However, Lily Sunders conveniently pops in and offers to heal Jack with her soul, but wants assurance that she'll go to heaven.
I'm sorry.
No.
In heaven, a shadow from the empty emerges to collect Jack, so he gets the hell out of Dodge and ends up having a lovely chat with his mother.
Jack. It's you.
Cass informs Jack of their resurrection plan, and the angels are all for it, in order to get the shadow the heck out of heaven. The shadow puts up a fight, so Cass offers himself up. The shadow accepts, but gives Cass a little more time to suffer until he experiences a moment of true happiness.
Deal.
Lily goes through with her offer anyway, leaving Jack alive and well. She is led into heaven because of her noble sacrifice. As a thank you for getting the shadow out of heaven, Naomi gives up Michael's location to Castiel.
You know where he is.
We have an idea.
Back on Earth, Michael has been setting traps all over the place in order to systematically take out the hunters. The brothers are one step ahead, however, and warn the hunters to be careful. To top things off on the weird scale, Mary and Bobby may be dating, so there's that. Garth goes incognito in Michael's super army, but his plan to bypass the Blood Grace elixir fails epically. Michael is on to Garth and sets a trap for the Winchesters with the same false info. The brothers play right into his hands, and Jack is taken hostage, while a special egg the brothers planned on using in their attack is scrambled. Bad Place Kaya hands over her spear after some persuasion from Dean, and Jack is rescued after a brutal soliloquy by Michael, who plans on turning all humans into monsters. Garth helps him escape, but things get all wolfy, so Sam chokes him out and locks him in the boot of the Impala. The gang reunites, and it's clear that they'll be walking into a trap, but they go anyway. An epic battle ensues, and Michael repossesses Dean because it turns out he's been spying on them through Dean's mind the entire time.
Yeah.
Dean is rescued from an endless dreamlike loop in his own subconscious.
There they are. Kill a ghoul, get a beer.
And the gang entraps Michael, locking him in a cage of his own making. The family is briefly reunited when John Winchester, circa 2003, pops up because of a magical pearl that grants wishes. Unfortunately, things start to go a little screwy, and it's decided that John should go back to stabilize the timeline. The family sits down to their first ever family meal, after which they say their goodbyes and send John back into his own time. I'm not crying. You're crying. Nick, who's still out for blood, finds out that Mary captured Abraxas. He tracks her down, but has an unfortunate run-in with Donna, who alerts the brothers that something's up. Mary reluctantly releases Abraxas, and Nick kills him and his innocent meat suit after it's revealed that Lucifer was behind his family's murder. Shocker. Donna and Mary tag-team Nick and send him to a psychiatric facility, but he escapes. He sets out to become Lucifer's vessel once more after a downer of a conversation with his wife's spirit. Dean has Michael bouncing around in his head, and after a chat with Billy, Dean decides to take matters into his own hands. He builds a Moloch coffin capable of containing an angel and plans to bury himself at sea for eternity. Sam vetoes that idea but agrees to use the coffin as a last resort.
It's fate. Since when do we believe in fate?
Jack's health is still deteriorating, and he's using his soul as a band-aid, but let's be honest, he's barely holding it together. While hunting a Medusa-like creature who likes to eat people, Dean receives a head injury, so Michael blows that popsicle stand and brutally massacres everyone inside the bunker. Jack, who's done playing games, incinerates Michael and consumes his grace, restoring himself to full Nephilim status. Unfortunately, he burns off his soul in the process. Castiel realizes that something is off and ropes Joe, not this Joe, in to help him contact God. They manage to send out an SOS, but receive no answer.
God?
Meanwhile, a malformed prophet of the Lord starts killing people, which makes the brothers realize that Donatello has regained consciousness. They manage to revive him and reintroduce Donatello to Jack over their mutual soullessness.
Dean! Jack, great to see you.
Donnie, good to see you up and around.
Nick ruins that party by kidnapping Donatello and amping up his angel radio, which awakens Lucifer in the empty. The Winchesters rescue Donatello, but Nick still manages to open the portal after getting his hands on some of Jack's blood. Nick is stopped by Mary and Jack, who close the portal before Lucifer can emerge, and kills Nick in a horrific fashion. Jack begs Mary not to tell Sam and Dean what he's done. She tells him that they're his family and will get him the help he needs. Jack feels cornered and out of control. Mary tries to calm him down. Jack can't stop himself and turns Mary into ash.
Listen to me.
Leave me alone!
He tries to undo it and kidnaps Rowena to help him with the resurrection spell. The brothers discover what's happened.
Cass should have told us. As soon as he saw Jack go all Dahmer on a stupid freaking snake, he should have told us.
Sam insists it's everyone's fault because they failed to see the signs. Rowena tries to talk Jack out of doing the spell because there's not even a body left to resurrect. Jack sends her away and she briefs the brothers on what's going down. They arrive as Jack finishes the spell and are grief-stricken to see that it didn't work.
Mom.
Jack lays low and becomes tormented by his conscience, which takes the form of Lucifer.
Next best thing.
An angel named Duma finds Jack and turns him into Heaven's personal hitman, which she promises will please the Winchesters. Sam and Castiel believe that Jack can be saved, but Dean thinks that Jack has turned into a monster that needs to be taken down. Jack's been turning a faithful few into angels to replenish Heaven's dwindling numbers and taken out some non-believers. Castiel kills Duma after realizing that she's been manipulating Jack. The brothers pray, and Jack comes a-running, but it's all a trick to trap him in the Moloch box. Jack apologizes and gets into the box willingly, but soon realizes that something is wrong. He blasts the box open and escapes, leaving Castiel appalled at the brothers' actions. Chuck finally shows up and produces a special gun that will kill Jack, but will also kill whoever uses it. Cass reiterates that he called Chuck to restore Jack's soul, but apparently God can't do that because it's tricky.
You're gone.
Dean takes the gun and sneaks out, but Cass and Sam are hot on his heels to try and stop him. Jack offers himself up without a struggle, stating that he knows he's a monster. Chuck shows up and urges Dean to kill Jack, but he ultimately can't because he has a heart of gold. Chuck throws every threat and enticement at Dean in order to persuade him to kill Jack, while Sam accuses Chuck of playing them for their entire lives.
This whole time.
Come on.
Because we're your favorite show? Because we're part of your story?
Dean, no offense, but your brother's stupid and crazy.
God turns out to be the real villain here because he smites Jack and leaves, welcoming the Winchesters to the end.
Story's over.
Jack awakens in the empty and Billy appears.
We should talk.
Back on Earth, all hell breaks loose. Literally. Souls erupt from a pit, a woman in white appears, the spirit of John Wayne Gacy starts terrorizing people. Even Bloody Mary makes an appearance, and the trio is left fighting back as hordes of zombies descend on them. Our top picks for monsters in Season 14, the vengeful comic book spirit, the djinn on Michael's payroll, the necromancer and her zombie boyfriend, the music aka the Fly Guy, the ghost of John Wayne Gacy, the 1950s obsessed warlock, and the Kohanta. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more recap content. Leave your comments below, and don't forget to ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.